Hi, Helen. I'm really happy that you have taken time to talk and tell us about Yoga Stops Traffic. Welcome.
Thank you, Jannicke. So nice to meet you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about Yoga Stops Traffic and also my experiences recently in India visiting the project that Yoga Stops Traffic funds.
I'm very curious to hear some direct observations and what you have seen and who you have met. I'd like to just say to the audience who are watching this video that for several years, Oslo Yoga and several other yoga teachers and yoga studios in Norway have been supporting the international campaign called Yoga Stops Traffic. And the money is given to a trust in southern India that helps women and children who are being trafficked. And now Helen has visited South India, and she is the head of this year's campaign and is working for Yoga Stops Traffic internationally. So as this campaign is going on in March every year, she has been in India while we have been gearing up to the campaign internationally. And in Oslo, we are going to have a charity lunch on April 12th, where we are inviting yogis, yoga teachers, yoga practitioners, yoga studio owners, anyone interested in yoga to come for a lunch where we're going to just hang out and have a great time talking and sharing our interest in yoga. But the money that we are generating from this lunch is going directly to the campaign Yoga Stops Traffic. So Helen, tell us a little bit about the people who are being helped by this campaign.
Okay, yes. So the campaign supports a girls' home in Mysore, South India. The girls' home looks after up to 100 girls at any one time, providing them with a place to stay, psychosocial support. There's also a helpline, so women around South India can call up if they're aware of situations of trafficking. The home not only looks after the girls, but goes out and rescues them from situations where they have been trafficked. They work through a series of local informers across not just Karnataka, which is the state that Mysore is in, but across other states in South India, like Kerala and Goa. And they become aware of situations and they work with the local police forces to be granted permission to raid those locations, which is obviously often quite dangerous work. Sometimes the local police force are corrupt, so they might be working with the local pimp or the person who is responsible for trafficking. They could be getting paid off by that individual, so it's a very complicated thing to negotiate. And once they have the approval of the police force, they go to the locations, they look at architectural drawings of the buildings, because often the girls have been hidden under walls or under floorboards or in secret places in properties, which they call hidden caves. So, actually, identifying and being able to find the girls within the buildings is quite problematic in itself. So, the investigations team will go to the location and they will work tirelessly to find the girls and to bring them their freedom and take them to the girls' home.
What a work. And so the Odanadi actually has a crew that goes and do these rescues.
Yes. So Odanadi has an investigations team of about 6 individuals. So they work really hard to investigate the situations through the local informers. They might be, yeah, those are situations might be identified through the informers. Sometimes they even get letters written into them, or are there other ways they might receive information about these situations? Sometimes the girls have been trafficked into sex work, or they could be trafficked as brides or into domestic work.
Hmm.
The girls can be as young as 12 years old. Often they're from some of the most marginalized communities in India. So they could be from a low caste, which is still the class-based system, which is still prevalent in many parts of India. They could be from a tribal background or be marginalized for not any other reason, which makes them have greater level of vulnerability to being trafficked effectively.
Did you meet these girls as well?
Yes, so I had the privilege of meeting many of the girls within the home. So some of the girls are as young as 12 and they go all the way up to 19. The girls are either in education or they might be um, getting trained at the on-site beauty school or the on-site bakery. So the idea is to rebuild the girls emotionally, but also in terms of giving them the opportunities they need to lead independent lives. Often because of their experiences, they might be stigmatized from their own community, so they might not be able to return to their families, which is why they are in the home. But the idea of the work of the local partner is to give them the education and skills they need to lead successful, happy lives and get over their traumatic experiences.
Yeah, it must be a lot of trauma for these women, having been captured, having been forced to do work that they didn't want to do, having been removed from their families and people they were safe with, and been exposed to either sexual abuse or different kinds of violence. It must be a huge scars and a lot of hurt that they have to deal with and recover from.
Yeah, exactly. So they have an on-site social worker, they have an on-site psychologist and counselor, as well as working with the schools so the girls can attend school. They really rebuild the girls and give them the space to talk about their experiences and understand what's happened. There are instances where they have been trafficked by their own families. So the levels of trauma there are pretty deep and extensive, which is why they need all the support they can get through the Yoga Stops Traffic campaign to ensure the home can continue its amazing work.
Hmm. Did you do you have any story of any one particular girl that you met that can show us a little bit about how what could be the situation that the girl has been in?
Um, it's quite hard to think on the top of my head.
Yeah, but it's to us, I think, most parents would be so protective of a, underage girl that, it's quite hard to even conceive of, a 12-year-old or 15-year-old not being protected by her family. And
Yeah.
like you say, that they can even be perhaps sold by their family or given away by their family because the family needs money or because they don't want to take responsibility for someone who's costing the family something. It's in some communities in India, they're still paying a dowry to get a girl married, and if the family can't afford it, well, what do?
Mm.
They may find other solutions.
Yeah. So there are definitely situations like that where the girls have been effectively sold at a local market for 2,000 rupees, which is like £20, and
Mm,
sold as brides and like that. And there's many situations of girls, yeah, being trafficked by their own parents or yeah, by being targeted by members of their own community or being targeted online. Obviously, there's an online aspect now,
mm,
um, which gives people greater vulnerabilities. And some situations where people have come even from overseas, so come from Bangladesh. There's a situation where they helped someone that had come from Uganda, so even further afield in South India, and they're trafficked on the pretense that they're going to be doing domestic work and then brought into a brothel.
mm.
Um, so yeah, really, really tough situations basically where people are in situations where they're already very poor and then they have the offer of work and they perhaps don't have the situation where they can check what something is or protect themselves, so there's a level of desperation there, definitely.
And it's very challenging for them, not having any education or training. Of course they become very vulnerable, and it's hard to escape. I mean, one thing is that they may be in a locked house where they can't escape, but even escaping from a house that is potentially open could be very difficult if you don't have anywhere to go and you don't have any work. So
Yeah,
a woman or a
definitely.
young girl could easily get stuck in a situation just because of fear of going out could be even more scary than being in the pit that
Yeah.
she's already.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to remember the role of girls and women in India isn't the same as some of the freedoms that we have in the Western cultures. Even though things are changing and things are progressing, and particularly in some of the really rural areas, there are prevalent attitudes about girls, which prevents them from having a voice, having a say. Perhaps there's a different level of fear than women and girls, yeah, in Europe perhaps would, um, have the ability to speak up a bit more.
Yeah, but
And the
I saw
family
the
is, yeah, sorry.
no, just I just saw the number of children being kidnapped or disappearing every week in India is also so extremely high. Um,
Yeah. So in Karnataka, which is a state in which Mysore, which is the city where the project is, so Karnataka is the state, and 26 children go missing every day, and many of those are children that have been trafficked. So that's the third highest in the whole of India.
is there a reason why it's high there compared to other parts of India?
I think it's probably the levels of poverty maybe are higher than other parts of India.
Mm,
There are
yeah.
also situations, so the girls' home is also unique in that the founders take a very proactive approach to what they do. So proactively going out and rescuing girls rather than just supporting them when they're alerted to their situation. They also go through a process of wanting justice for perpetrators, so taking perpetrators through the court system to ensure they are punished for the crimes they have committed against girls and women. So they are currently going through the court system with a Swami, like a religious figure in northern Karnataka, who was responsible for abusing girls. And this is an incredibly difficult case because he has a huge amount of power and authority within the community that he's from, being a religious figure. And he's also well known within the police as well. So there's many layers of difficulty in ensuring that justice is brought. So that's just one example of how they are working to bring justice basically for victims, and they do that in as many instances as they can.
I think it's so important that they're doing that kind of work because, like you said, the police can sometimes be bribed or
Mm-hmm.
somehow involved with perpetrators. And I'm just thinking of also having observed in India how religious figures or these big gurus or teachers can be very close with the police. Maybe the police is a disciple of the guru, and the guru is giving this police person or authority of some kind a special position, and so they become addicted to the approval of the guru or the religious authority, and in that situation it becomes so hard for the police um, to challenge or to charge the person. And I think, I mean, of course, this is taking place with religious figures, but of course, in Europe, we also see it with people who are in high positions, not necessarily religious
Exactly.
positions, but other kind of powerful positions may be protected by the police even when they are doing something that is illegal or harmful. So it's wonderful that Odanadi is not only saving, but also actually taking a legal step, and I think wonderful that they're doing this work of saving and proactively going in and rescuing the women and
Exactly.
children. Yeah. How's it going with the campaign internationally? So we're a part of the campaign. Oslo
Yes.
Yoga is cooperating with Loka Oslo and with Joy Yoga, and we're having this lunch. And in other places in Europe and the States, perhaps there are yoga classes and workshops being organized for the campaign.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So there's lots of exciting events taking place. We're so grateful to Oslo Yoga for your continued support. Really, really appreciate all your long-term commitment to Yoga Stops Traffic. And we have events this year taking place in Paris, in Calgary, Canada, in Mexico, in Germany, in Austria, and we have a really exciting yoga festival that takes place in the UK called On Base, and they donate from proceeds of the ticket sales
Mm.
from the festival. So that takes place in September. And we also have the support of Jade Yoga, which is a big yoga mat brand, who will be donating from online sales at the weekend, and another big yoga company called More Yoga. So they have a chain of studios across London, and they are also going to be donating from classes over the weekend. So lots of exciting activity going on. We are hoping to raise £25,000, which will fund the girls' home for 6 months. So that ensures the girls not only have a place to stay, but they
Mm.
have food, they have the pastoral care that they need, they have schooling, they have training opportunities, they have the support of their house mum. So there's a mum, special staff member called the house mum, who
Mm.
provides all of that emotional support that the girls need and is their go-to person for everything that you might imagine a mum helping you with, whether
Mm.
that's, navigating friendships, or, how to deal with situations at school, or how to, dream about the future, and all those things that you might imagine your mum doing. So they have
Mm.
these dedicated women, and the lady currently at the girls' home actually used to be in the home herself, and now she's a staff member. So that's
Mm.
a really amazing example of how Odanadi, the local partner, really want these girls to have opportunities and see their potential, not only to improve their own lives, but to improve the lives of other girls that have had similar experiences.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I really wish we could aim for being able to support the girls' home for a full year, not only half a year. But
Yeah.
I think when I first heard about Yoga Stops Traffic and I heard about it as an international campaign, I thought, I wish I could be part of that campaign one time. And then the next year, I found out how to be a part of it. And I thought it was so exciting. And we have been a part of it for several years. And now for the last 3 years, it's with the lunch. Prior to that, it was with yoga workshops. And I think the fact that it is a campaign that is held in March, but that we are free to actually do these kind of workshops anytime. Last year, I did a workshop in January, and we did the lunch in March. And then, like you say, they're doing the festival in September. So there's not really a time limit to when we can generate money to and be part of the fundraising campaign. I think for yoga teachers elsewhere in Norway, outside of Oslo and in Oslo, if you at one point want to do a yoga event for Yoga Stops Traffic, feel free to organize it anytime. The money is really welcome anytime. And if it's too much to organize an event, it doesn't have to be an event. It's possible to donate to Yoga Stops Traffic even without doing anything, just like any other charity. It's possible to give money to it. And we are very aware that we are being bombarded with bad news from media. Israel, Gaza, and uh, Ukraine and Russia. There's so much bad stuff going on in the world. It's quite hard to be able to get involved and open our hearts to hear more bad news and difficult stories. But I think you said in our correspondence, Helen, or maybe someone else said, this is really about good news because there is this organization which is helping women.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, the girls' home works really tirelessly to improve these girls' lives and give them the brighter future that they deserve, effectively. And we're so grateful to all the yoga students and teachers in Oslo who are participating in your event this year. And absolutely, if you want to get involved with Yoga Stops Traffic, then please drop us an email. It doesn't have to be a yoga class. You could, as Jannicke is doing, host a dinner or a small gathering or do a workshop. It doesn't matter. We would love more people to get involved. So do let us know if you've got any ideas.
Yeah. And I think it's great, to be able to share these ideas also with the international yoga community. I think it's an exciting thing that we're doing a lunch because yogis also like to meet, and many of us have teachers and regular classes that we go to, so we don't need yet another class perhaps, but it's nice to hang out and to spend time with people who share our interest in yoga, and so that we can have a joy in being in the community while at the same time helping someone in a different part of the world who are in a really great need of our help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen, for
Thank you,
taking the
Jannicke.
time to be with us and to tell about Yoga Stops Traffic and Odanadi and about the girls' home. I really
Pleasure.
hope
Thank
that we'll be
you.
able to support the campaign with as much money as possible this year.
Thank you, Jannicke. So grateful to Oslo Yoga and all of your students, friends, and fellow teachers for supporting Yoga Stops Traffic.
I think it's a great joy that we are 3 studios doing this work together, really showing the great spirit of cooperation and friendship in the yoga community, and that we're doing this to help people other places in the world. So thank you very much, Helen.
Thank
I
you.
wish us all great luck with the campaign and all the best to the girls so that we will be able to help them.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.